You rang? How y'all doing today? My name is Ryan, and this is Down to Business Reviews. This week for Movie Club, we watched The Addams Family, directed by Barry Sonnenfeld and starring Raul Julia, Anjelica Huston, Christopher Lloyd, and Christina Ricci. The Addams Family is based on the 1960s TV show of the same name about the misadventures of a comically macabre family. In this feature film version, a con man tries to steal the Addams family fortune with an accomplice who may or may not be their long-lost Uncle Fester. I'd just like to get this out in the open. I have never seen an episode of The Addams Family, ever. Not the 60s TV show, not the 70s or 90s cartoon, neither of the movies. I'm only aware of the characters' names and kind of who they are through their prevalence in pop culture. So I basically went into this movie completely blind. I mean, I knew it was like a dark comedy, that the family was like obsessed with death. There was like a hand thingy called Thing. I guess I wasn't too terribly surprised as to what the movie ended up being. I mean, it felt like an early 90s Tim Burton-y gothic comedy. And I have no sentimental attachment to any of these characters, so the only thing that I had to go off of was, what the movie presented for me. Gomez Addams, played by Raul Julia, is the family patriarch who is like a suave Lothario and apparently a gymnast. Morticia's like Elvira on Xanax. There's the two kids, Pugsley and Wednesday, played by an extremely young Christina Ricci, who are constantly out to kill each other. And then there was the one reason I was kind of excited to see this movie, and it was Christopher Lloyd's portrayal of Uncle Fester. Forever known to the world as Dr. Emmett Brown, Christopher Lloyd is actually great in a lot of movies. I mean, Who Framed Roger Rabbit wouldn't be the same without him. He brings like a frenetic, physicality to the role of Fester that I found really amusing. The story itself is pretty straightforward, and it does a pretty good job of introducing you to the characters and what they're all about, that they're into death and all things macabre and ghoulish. If you can get into that darkly comic mindset, I think you can have a pretty good time with this film. Now let's talk about the rights and wrongs with the Addams Family. What did this film do right? For being the directorial debut of Barry Sonnenfeld, I feel like he did a pretty good job. He would go on to do Men in Black 2, Men in Black 3, Wild Wild West? I mean, there is a lot of the film that feels like he's trying to imitate Tim Burton, and I guess Tim Burton was the first choice for this, so it's understandable. Christopher Lloyd stole the show, in my opinion. I mean, Raul Julia also did a great job of kind of portraying the quasi-psychotic Gomez, but it's Christopher Lloyd's portrayal of the toadish Uncle Fester that really was the best part of the movie for me. There is a scene later in the film where Pugsley and Wednesday are reenacting a Shakespearean play for their school, and it's one of the funniest moments in the film. I thought it was really entertaining, just so much blood. It was really funny. But counter to that, there's also a lot of deadpan delivery from a lot of actors that was equally as funny. Also, I think it's worth mentioning the special effects that went into making Thing, be a mobile character. In the TV show and sometimes in the cartoon, Thing would pop out of a conveniently placed box. But in the movie, he's flailing around everywhere. It's pretty cool. It looks really great for 1991, and with the limitations of CGI in that day, some of these special effects are pretty astounding. But what did the Addams Family do wrong? Some of the more slapsticky comedic moments fell flat for me, as opposed to the more deadpan moments. The slide down to the Addams Family vault was way over the top, and the climactic showdown between Uncle Fester and the Addams, the special effects in that scene are so silly, especially by today's standards. There's something about the relationship between Gomez and Morticia that just made me really uncomfortable. It's really gross. Death turns them on, and I get that that's the joke. But by the fifth or sixth occurrence of them swooning into each other's pasty embrace, I was totally over it. So whether you're a longtime fan of the TV show or this movie is your introduction to the Addams Family, I think that it makes for a pretty enjoyable and darkly comedic Friday night movie. If you like the tone of early 90s Burton films, I think you'll like this movie almost equally as much. That said, the Addams Family gets a B. That's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you liked anything that I was rambling on about, please leave a comment down below. If you've seen The Addams Family, what did you think of it? Have you seen the TV show? Does that change your opinion of the movie? Let me know in the comments down below. If you didn't know, I do these reviews for SourceFed Nerds Movie Club, which airs every Saturday on their channel. Sometimes I get featured, sometimes I don't. Check it out, it's a lot of fun. Be sure you follow me on Twitter, check out my Facebook page, and guys, thank you so much again for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.